You hear so many stories of those struggling with addictions, but very few about the people who had to live with, support, and love them. Many of these stories are not told due to shame, guilt, and fear. Marietta has shared her husband's battle with addiction, but now it's time for her to share a part of her story, married to an addiction.
Hey Tosh, thank you so much for coming and helping me with this phase of my 12 to 50 journey. This one is a hard one. When I first started the whole journey, even though I didn't know what I was going to do month to month, I always knew about this month. So I'm thankful that you're here. You know a little about what I went through. So what you want to know, girl?
You are welcome. It's my honor to be here. I'm grateful that you asked. I'm humbled that you asked, and I do know quite a bit about the journey. So, but I'm curious because I'm sure there's more, and I'm happy for you to be able to share this and pour it out, and to help others as well. So you have many, many, many more years, and this helps you to heal. And so that's what I'm excited about. And so I'm humbled to be a part of that. So let me ask you, when did you and Bernard meet?
I met Bernard through his mom, Joyce. We were in ministry together at Second Unity. She was like my best friend. Oh. Even though I called her my godmom, but I mean, the two of us, we did everything together. Ministry, hung out. I think I spent more time on her floor in prayer and worship than I did at home. So I met him through her. At the time that I met her, her oldest son had just passed. And we developed a relationship, and Bernard was in prison at that time. So she asked some of the ministers at the church if we could just, write him, keep him encouraged. And that's how I started a dialogue with him. And when he came home the first time, I mean, he was like my brother. Okay. I called all of them my brothers. He didn't like that. But he was like my brother. And at that time, he was a Muslim when he came home. So we debated, argued about the Bible all the time. So he got into some more trouble and ended up going back to prison. And that second time that he went to prison, during the time that I knew him, we developed a closer relationship, pen pals, and just really communicated. And he gave his life to the Lord while he was in jail. And Bernard was the type of person that he soaked up a lot of information. He studied everything. So when he was in the streets, before he went to prison, when he was younger, he gave 100%. When he was a Muslim, he gave 100%. When he became a Christian, he gave 100%. When I say he knew everything about the Word of God, the letter of the Word, he knew it. So while he was in prison, we developed a relationship, and I fell in love with him.
While he was in prison?
While he was in prison.
Wow.
I fell in love with him. Yep, sure did.
You never had any reservations about it?
And you know what? At that time, no, I didn't. And the thing about it is, now that I'm thinking about it, I never thought about his past when we were communicating while he was in prison. Because he told me he started running in the streets when he was 13 years old, doing drugs, selling drugs. He was homeless, all of this stuff. And actually the period that I knew him, when he first came home from prison and before he went back again, he was doing drugs. And I remember in his mom's den, me, him, and his god brother, we prayed for him. And he was delivered. He didn't do any more drugs leading up to when he went back to prison. He was clean. So at the time that I fell in love with him, I honestly did not even consider his past. It was almost as if it had never happened. None of that ever came up to me. None of it at all.
Now, with the way that you grew up, you just explained to me like some of the differences, like what he grew up doing. How was it different from the way you grew up? And what was that connection? I know you said it was because of his mother, but what else connected you? And how was your life different from his?
Well, it was like night and day because I knew nothing about the streets. I was like the street light kid. Yeah. So in the summertime or anytime, whenever the street lights came on, I was in the house. I spent most of my time with my dad, and he was a deacon at the church. So I did work, church, and school. That was my whole life. So it was a drastic difference between the two of us. He knew things I knew nothing about, whole lifestyle I knew nothing about. But it was just his heart.
Okay.
That was so pure. Anybody that knew Bernard knew that he was honest, regardless to whatever he did, whatever junk or mess he got involved in. He was honest, maybe a little too honest at some point, but he was very honest. So his heart was always to do the right thing and be a good person. But life just got the best of him.
Mm-hmm. When did it happen? When did you get that epiphany? He's my husband, and this is it. And tell me all about what led up to that and when you got married.
It's so funny. I know some people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I called his Aunt May Lois one day, and I was crying on the phone. I was like, she was like, "What's wrong, Marietta? What's wrong?" I think I'm in love with Bernard. And she's like, "It's okay. It's okay. It's okay." I was like, "No, it's not." Because I always told, he always said, "You gonna be my wife." I said, "No, I ain't. I'm your sister. We blood. No, we don't do this. Damon, PC, Pooh, y'all like family. We don't do that. No. You gonna be my wife." I'm like, whatever. And then when it came to me, I called her. I literally was in tears because I'm like, and then I think that's when it hit me to where I recognized, or I thought about the differences between the two of us. Okay. Not about his past addiction, but the differences between the two of us. Like, I was raised in the church, and I knew he knew street stuff, but I also knew he knew God. Okay. But yeah, it just hit me, and I'm like crying. I was like, this joking and wore me down to the point. Yeah. And I'm like, and I think I was fighting it because I'm like, he kept telling me
and
that
it was like a rebellion.
Yeah, like no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So yeah, when it hit me, it was a big blow. But I knew in my heart that I loved him.